All right, so here's your new system. We got the soundboard over here. We got video stuff over here in the middle, and your computer graphics over there on the left. Turning it on, no real difference. Let's come over here and you turn this key.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, Dad.
Did you get started?
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want a chair? Let me get you a chair.
No, I'm good.
You good? All right, and I'm video recording this too, so.
Okay, good. Well, I'll better watch what I say then.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, it cuts everything on, cuts on the sound. You can see videos up now as well. Over there. Yeah. So you got all that up here. Sound in here. You now have this A layer right here. This is your custom layer. So it's whatever you guys need regularly is going to live up here. So we've already got all 5 of the wireless living up top here. Got your table mic and the left and right lectern mics up there, and then the choir mics.
Okay.
And then you have the PC audio input that's over there, and then the Denon media player, which is in this rack back here. It's got CD and all that good stuff.
Okay.
It's all right there. So that all lives up here on top. But if you go down here, skip down a couple layers to C and D, this is where all of the inputs live sequentially. So 1 through 24 right here are 1 through 24 in your floor boxes up there. So as we add things and so on, that's where this is going to show up.
All right, so if I go to layer C, channel 1, it's going to be whatever channel 1 is labeled down here.
Yep, that's correct. And you can always add things to this layer up here, this layer A, by hitting the setup button, going to surface, and then from here you're in the strip assign, and you can just drag things in. So if we decide, down here, this is where stuff is. So if I decide, oh hey, I need to have some other inputs, I can drag that in here and boom, it shows it right here. You can move stuff around, rearrange it. So as you add things plugged in on stage, I'm sure you'd be adding more things here.
Just so you got it all in one.
Yeah.
All in one layer.
Because this is literally everything, and there's even more on the second layer. On the second layer here, so this is all your stage stuff. If you drop down to D here, this is all the other inputs that you have. So we've got, the choir mics, left and right, over here. You've got the Denon media player, all your wireless, the room microphone, this mic right back here. That's your room microphone. And then all of the inputs that are on the back of this are visible right here. So if you ever need to use any of those inputs for anything, those live here. So you got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, because we're using a couple of them for the wireless and the PC. But yeah, that's all right here and available too. So if we go down here, E, this is where the effects stuff lives. You're probably never going to touch this, but that's where it lives. And then
I can add reverb with the choir.
yes, you could. And then F over here, this is all your outputs. So right now, the first 4 are monitors 1 through 4. I black those out because right now we can't use them because we don't have an amplifier for them. When we get an amplifier for them, they'll be ready. 5 is choir, so that speaker that's hung up there now, I actually broke that out to be separate. So now you can send individual things, whatever you might would need, over to the choir, and it won't affect anything else that's going on here. Because before, in order to send stuff to the choir, you pretty much had to affect whatever is coming out of that speaker as well. Now that's no longer the case. They're split out. So these people hear the same thing. That's what's going on over here. This one now has its own separate mix.
So this one's just tied into the main.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep. And so to start sending stuff to it, all you got to do is, say over here on A, I'll pause over here. This is where I select the choir mix. And now you can see, I was glad to check this. I was fooling around the other day, showing stuff off. You just to come in here and hit 5, and you push these push faders up, and now it's coming out the side there. So if I were to come up here, grab wireless 5 and turn it on, unmute it. Hey.
Do we need some batteries for that? Batteries.
I know one of them was dying, yeah, but now you can see, hey, it's coming out just over there by the choir. So that's how you send stuff to the choir mix. You just select choir, turn it up.
Okay, so that choir refers to that speaker.
Yep. Yeah, 'cause it's pointing at your choir.
Alright.
Yep. And then I press it again, so it's lit blue here. If I press it again while it's lit blue, it'll snap. See the blue light goes back here. Now we're on the mains. I pull this up, and now I'm talking on the mains. So let's go back down to F while this is in here. You can see choir. You can see we've got a lot of flashing lights going on now. One of them is broadcast. So the broadcast mix is going to mirror what your mains are doing. So if you bring it up in the mains, it's going to bring it up on broadcast.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
what if we want, and what if we don't want it in the mains, but in the broadcast?
If you don't want it in the mains, but you do want it in the broadcast, I think the only one that is that case is this mic right here, correct?
Well, no. The choir mics,
Uh-huh.
I want to use just for amplifying in the room, and I only want this mic to be recorded, to be broadcast.
Okay, so let's say you don't want so you're saying you don't want the choir mics in the broadcast. Okay, so changing the broadcast mix is just like changing the choir mix. So if I hit 12 here, it's gonna show me, we're gonna go up here. If I hit 12, see how these are all even across the board here? What this is doing is basically saying all of these things are going to be at the same ratio going to the broadcast mix.
Right.
So as I move this fader up and down here, it's moving up and down on broadcast as well, because you can see the little meters over there. They're barely doing anything, now they're doing something, right?
Right.
So I can hit broadcast over here, and this mic is dead. Sorry, we got
All the
another.
battery.
don't know where
We
they took it.
decluttered, I took all the batteries out, they're out in the hall.
Alright, so now it's back. Alright, so as I'm talking over here on the mic, if I come over here to broadcast, and I take this fader all the way down, you'll see over here, ain't nothing going in there. So we can take our choir mics, and we can take them, knock them out, and now those choir mics won't go on broadcast.
Okay. So that's why you're in
12, broadcast mix. Yep.
broadcast.
So when we're on the radio, we need to push that broadcast button, right?
Nope.
No.
It'll always go. You don't have to push that to start the broadcast. You just go there to make adjustments.
Oh, okay, so
Yep.
that's just adjustment.
All right. So jumping back on down here, so we got the broadcast feed. That's your mains. You know, it's also lives over here. That's your mains as well. Fill. This is that little fill speaker that's shooting over here
Right.
to the side. There's also a quick volume and mute button over here.
Oh, just for it?
Uh-huh. Same thing with the choir speaker. You can quickly turn that up or down or mute it as well over there. Building. So this is all the rest of the building feeds.
Right.
So out here in the narthex, parlor, fellowship hall, and nursery.
Okay.
All 4 of those. They're all tied together. We have a plan for next phase to get those all split out, so you'll actually be able to individually, like say, because when you mute the building feed now, it's going to mute the speaker in there. A little bit of a problem. So we got a plan for that. And then over here is hearing assist. This is just
Okay.
going to inject your mains into that
Right.
for your hearing assist system. Pretty much never have to touch it. And then I'm going to point out that the DCAs are here, and that's it. You don't even need to, if you don't know what they are, then you don't need to know what they They're a way.
Google that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no,
No.
it's one of the things I told the guys last night. Is like when you get to the point where you've progressed enough in your audio mixing journey, and you decide, "Oh, I wish we had some DCAs." It's like, oh, there you go. But until
Is that plural?
DCAs, yes, when we have those, yes. So that's where they live, and that's all we need to cover really with those for your application. So that's audio in and out, and then processing the channels. So so on your old board you had basically all the knobs for every channel row by row. Now you actually have to select a channel
Right.
in order to make adjustments to it. So
Okay.
press the select button, you see these light up over here. See, they're dark, nothing's selected. Just button, they light up, they're selected. So now we can actually start doing things to our channel. First thing you want to do is get your preamp set. So this knob right here is your gain, right? And you want this set so that when I'm talking loudly, or if the instrument is playing loudly, basically when it's at its loudest, it's getting to this nice yellow right there. We don't want red lights, so if I'm barking into this and it's getting red, we got a problem. But right now, nope, we're getting yellow lights, we're good. Yellow is good, gives us enough volume to get things all over wherever else we need. Next up is high pass. This is also known as low cut on your soundboard. What this is going to do is it's going to get rid of low end muddiness, like mic handling and things like that. It's going to get rid of that. So I turn that off, and you can hear there's maybe a little bit more, fullness in my voice. So what we can do is we can turn that down some, and now it sounds a little full, but here we got a little bit more.
What does that do again?
It just takes some of the low end out of your voice. It's removed it or out of the source.
Equalizer a little bit. It's just taking out the.
It's part of it. On your old board, it was a button that you pressed that said like low cut or high pass on it. And that's what that's doing. The gate, I'm going to acknowledge that it's here and say you're probably not going to touch this. And this is, I also tell people this is responsible for like half of my mic isn't working service calls, because people will turn this on. And what it does is, you see when it engages that little red light, it's muting that channel. And see what it just did right there? I'm starting to talk quietly. It mutes it.
Oh, so if it doesn't sense the signal.
If it's not loud enough, now I can turn this all the way up here, in fact, and now it's red and it's muted the whole time. I can't get loud enough, or I can. I really have to get loud and play on it, and then it mutes. And
Like a
so,
squelch control.
something like that, yeah. And so, its job is to basically mute something when it gets quiet.
Okay.
Compressor is the opposite of that. You've been seeing this little yellow light ticking on here. A compressor is going to take a loud sound and make it quieter. So you can hear now, I can get loud, and it gets louder, and it gets kind of a little much. I might have to do one of these, to kind of control the volume. With this, with the compressor, I can turn that on, and now you can hear it's controlling my voice. I can get louder, but it's keeping it controlled. You can turn that up, so it's not kicking in as soon. Let's see here, it's kicking in now, there we go, now it's starting to do it. Or you can get really silly with it, now I can't hear much because it's turning me down at the very lowest volume. So you're just going to need to play with that. Basically, you get the mic set to where you can hear it well, and then you figure out where too loud is too loud, and you just dial in a little compressor right there.
So if a kid walks up and screams at the mic.
Yep. It'll keep that screaming in check. And then moving on down here, you got your pan knob. It lets you pan things over to the left. Now we're coming out the left speaker. Over here to the right. Now we're coming out the right speaker. And then we pan it back.
Those should stay in the center.
Yeah, pretty much. It doesn't, with the way your PA is set up in here, it doesn't make too much sense to get too much going on with that. And then EQ. So,
Yeah, this is right. I like it.
So I'm gonna hit this processing button here to show me this view. And then my EQ is right here. I'm gonna tap that. And now I can see what my voice is doing. There's a visual representation of my voice there. And so now, let's say, you know what, there's like this really weird nasaliness that I don't really like. Let's go over here. Let's see, I think it's something like this. Yeah, I'm gonna take some of that out, maybe pull this, and you can just move around with your finger and do it. So you can go over here and you make it, oh, it sounds really good. Or come down here and now really start messing with stuff and moving it around and doing all kinds of things to your sound. Yep.
What button did you push to do that?
Sure.
That
So,
processing?
yeah, processing shows us this big window right here.
Yeah.
And then our little EQ graph is right here. So if I touch it, now this is a gauge. I can come over here and start doing all sorts of crazy stuff with my voice. Yep, that's how that works.
Yeah, it's a,
It'd be nice if I could remember that.
It's all right, but we're
Trying to
taping
write
it.
it down.
there,
so.
yeah, that's similar to something in the Logic, in my,
Yeah.
my audio editing software.
Gotcha.
Do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Yeah, I can make Kara sound like a man.
And so there you go. You got that's where EQ lives on this. So that's the basics of running audio on this. There's not too much else wild and crazy going on with it. Do you have any specific questions about audio?
No, I'm sure I will, but anyway, that's.
Oh, one more
That's
thing to
why
point out.
I'm glad I'm doing this.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show the table mic input over here.
It's still running.
If you touch,
Like a tail mic, what is it? Oh, table.
Yeah, the table mic. If you touch over here, where this your gain knob is, see this red 48 volt? That's the phantom power.
Okay.
Yeah. So how that turns on and off is you have to hold it. So if I press and hold, it's turned off phantom power, and now the table mic is not gonna
Right.
function. But if I press and hold it again, it's gonna go pow.
Okay.
And now it has power, and you can see it's picking up my voice in the room.
So you just leave that on.
Yep. Yeah, you never have to. Once you've got it hooked up, you don't have to fool with it.
Have we tried? Oh, that's right. We're gonna get the other one had a defect.
Yep. Alex threw the old one back on there, and it's functioning. We're good.
Okay.
Yep. No hissy.
You know, some of that. Well, no, I was gonna say some of that compression or may help us with that, but I don't know. We don't have the compression would finally would actually function. Would it function at all? Would it help with feedback?
Not really.
Yeah.
Feedback is more of an
Yeah.
EQ problem and a mic placement problem. So that'll help with that, though.
Yeah. Someday I'd
Yep.
love to have a cluster. Right over that too.
Alex actually reviewed the initial proposal for you all, and we still feel pretty confident in what we had selected in that initial.
And remind me what it was. Was it?
It was a couple of Martin CDD somethings. Alex is the one with the encyclopedic memory, so I'll let him do that.
Was it a central cluster kind of thing, or was it?
I think we were kind of taking what you have existing and modifying it somewhat. So obviously
Okay.
we're going to do different cabinets, but I think the placement is roughly near to what we were going to
Okay.
do. The issue in your space is actually doing any of the structural rigging. I mean,
Yeah,
mounting
what
to
are you
the
gonna attach
ceiling
it to?
now at this point is impossible.
Right.
There's nothing that really can be done
Right.
now that construction is finished. And so we just have to work with the structure we do have and that we can function with. And these columns here are points that we actually feel we would be comfortable
Yeah.
mounting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all there is for audio over here. Like I said, building has a nice quick mute right there, so you can quickly mute and unmute whatever you got.
That'd be nice.
Yep.
Like when we're warming up and
Yep.
you're during Sunday school time.
Yeah, that way
Because
you're
what
not
happens is
throwing
we're-
sound to the nursery
Yeah,
or the
we're
fellowship hall.
encroaching on Donna's Sunday school
Yeah.
class sometimes. And what I would do is I'd come up here and just shut off the, turn the knob down or kill that.
Which
amp.
it's right
What's
there.
over
Yep.
here now.
Yep.
Yeah.
But now you don't even have to fool with it. You
Then we
just leave
forget
it
to turn
set.
it back on.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's this one right here, you just turn that red,
Uh-huh.
that's mute, right, for the building?
Yes, sir.
Building, fill, and choir. Okay.
If you,
So
yeah,
the pre-fader and post-fader
yes.
aux in
Yep.
It's all in there, it's just.
Yep. So I will show you where that lives here. Let's go look at the broadcast.
Yeah, I
It's
was
a
gonna
good
say,
example.
there's some things I like to,
Yep.
like to do post, or pre-fader.
Yep.
Well, we were talking about that a while ago, but.
Yep. So
I guess
I've
that's
got
basically what.
broadcast selected here.
Okay.
And now I'm going to go over to routing. So processing is going to manipulate the channels, stuff.
Right.
Routing
I'm gonna make.
is
Let's make sure this is still.
Yep.
Yeah.
routing is going to show you where that sound is going. It's getting
Yes,
routed.
yeah, that's
And so if I
signal flow.
So I've got my table mic here, and I can see it's turned up over here on 12. It's kind of tiny, but I can see that there's that color. I'm gonna tap in on that, and we're gonna go drag this over here so we can look at broadcast, and I can see that the table mic is being sent to broadcast post fade.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Wonderful.
Yep.
All right.
And then again, that once that's set, we don't have to worry about that.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. This is just if we need to make some changes. For example, I have, let's go C, D, D, I'm gonna go room. Room I have being sent to broadcast pre-fade because you don't ever need to send it to your mains. You're not sending
Oh,
this
right,
room
right,
mic.
right. Yeah, that
Yeah.
is just for broadcast.
Yep.
Right.
In fact, I'm gonna come over here and make sure that you can't send it to your mains or your monitors. You don't need to be doing that.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot of buttons to turn off to get there.
Now, what I'd like
That
to.
one speaker,
Yeah,
huh?
what I'd like to do eventually is to send those choir mics, and the piano will be mic'd, send that to that choir monitor. That's what I was.
You're gonna send the choir mics back to the choir?
Well, like a foldback. It's so because they have a difficult time hearing the piano and hear the way the piano is.
The piano makes sense, but sending the choir mics back to the
And hear
choir?
themselves. It's a terrible loft singing. You cannot hardly hear people 3 or 4 down from you.
Gotcha.
You feel like you're singing by yourself.
Gotcha.
But I've used extra mics in the past. In fact, I've got 2 of these 81s that I've used in the past to run through. It was crazy. I ran them through those Mackie hotspots, pull it, and then throwing their sound back at them.
Okay.
But you got it's a slippery slope.
Yeah, that's why it's not
easy, yeah.
a recommended procedure, for sure.
But
So-
when you're presenting, you do what you.
I
you
know,
do what you gotta do.
So
I know.
now,
Live
when
events
somebody
just make it
complains they
work.
can't hear that speaker, we can turn it up.
Well, you can turn it up, but I will say that if they say they can't hear it, it's probably because it's broken.
Yeah,
Oh.
It is actually broken.
the high end is not working.
Yeah, which is what most people are actually trying to hear.
Yeah.
All right.
Those, what are those? I should.
I still
They're
crank it up.
Yorkvilles. Yeah, I don't try to replace those
No, I mean,
unless
a
you have us
replacement
replace them.
wouldn't be a whole lot. Would it?
Uh,
Decent speaker.
Decent speaker wouldn't be too bad, but yeah, you need that and the amplifier to drive them because
Yeah.
both of what you got right now is just, I mean, it's this thing that looks like it belongs in a car. That little
Okay, down
Stewart
the
thing,
bottom.
that little
Oh, down
passive,
here?
yeah.
So that's what it is?
That's what's driving those 2 speakers, and it
Oh.
looks like it belongs in a car stereo.
100 watt?
Not there, yeah. So we've got to reach out to Alex. We've got a good plan to help
Yeah,
you
okay.
correct this portion.
Right.
Man, so that's all there is to audio over here. It's not crazy. Again, all of your inputs, they're numbered down there. They correspond directly with numbers on here,
Oh,
and you'll be good to go.
I was gonna make a call to a radio station. Do you mind us doing that while
Yeah,
you're
we can absolutely do that. In fact, let's go ahead and reset. We're gonna switch spots. I'm gonna go over to
Okay.
here to video
I
world.
got one more question for you.
Yes, sir.
If we have to play a CD.
Yep.
That's all controlled right here,
Yep.
or we got a button over here?
Well, you'll pop the CD in here, and you'll press play and all that over here. And then you'll just come over here and unmute the Denon and
Oh,
pull
Denon,
it up.
okay.
Yep.
Denon,
Because it does.
that'd be, what, just this left or right or both?
Yep,
of them?
both of them. You want to hear both sides of it.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna pause this.